Let's sew the felt bats and the lace bats for our Pumpkins and Potions quilt. Let's work on the felt and lace bats on page 58 and 59. For the felt bats, I will be using black felt, and I have also decided to add a few purple felt bats. The lace bats will be all thread. Let's get started. I've opened Embrilliance Essentials, and I am going to add the felt bats and the lace bats. Embrilliance opens with the last hoop size that you used, so mine is the 7 by 12 inch hoop. That's the size hoop that I will use for the lace bats. I can use the merge stitch file icon on the top right to find my file, but I will open my Pumpkins and Potions folder and then open the embroidery files folder. The felt bats and the lace bats have 6 each for the pattern. I have decided to double the amount of bats. So for the lace bats, I will drag and drop 2 of the files. I will Command A on my Mac to select both sets of files, and I will come to the rotate right and rotate the files. I will select one set and move it down. I will select the other set and move it all the way up to the top. And now I have 12 lace bats. I will File, Save Stitch File As, and name the design. I will put it into my Combined Files folder so that I can take it to my USB and take to my machine. Now I will follow the same steps for the felt bats. The first thing I'll do is change my hoop size. I will go to the Preferences folder and choose the 6 by 10. Then I will come to the compass and select H. That will zoom the hoop in on the screen. Now I will bring the felt bats in. I can go to the merge stitch file icon on the right, but I will open up my embroidery files folder again. Here are the felt bats, and I will drag in 2 of the files. I will select one and move it down. I will select the first one and move it all the way up. And that's all I need to do for these bats. I'm not going to color sort either of the bats. Since there's so few steps, I am just going to run one set and then the second set. For these bats, I need to save, so I will go to File, Save Stitch File As. I will name the file. I will save it into my Combined Files folder and then add it to my USB to take to my machine. I am going to go to Embroidery and my USB and to my Combined Files folder, and I am going to start with the felt bats. I will hit Set and Embroidery. Now I do have the 8 by 12 hoop on my machine settings, but I am using my 7 by 12, and so I am going to go to Layout and Move, and I am going to move it all the way to the top to save on the stabilizer, and I am going to go ahead and just move it over. I have put Wash Away Stabilizer in my hoop, and I have the strip just hanging off the bottom of the hoop so that I can move it up when I'm ready to do my lace bats. show you a couple of things. On this felt, I had laid it, I guess, kind of crooked, and I really wasn't watching my machine, and you can see that the basting started and then it kind of got off because this was lower, so it kind of got off track. So then when it started coming down this side, it caught and made a mess of things, so I had to cut it out. And then I decided I'm not going to worry about it. This area up here will be for this top bat, and I'm just going to skip it. And I will do the one bat here, I'll skip this one, and then I'll do the next two. But I also wanted to stop it because I used my darker purple thread, and I'm not really loving this. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of grape jelly. And I don't know, so I'm going to try my lighter purple, and we'll see. And I'll have 2 of this color, and then 3 of the lighter, and then my 6 black. Anyway, so that's where I am on the felt bats. So I'm going to finish these up. Here is the lighter color, and I think I do like it better. And this is a PSA to always watch your machine, especially if it's tacking something down, so that you don't have an issue like I did, because I wasn't paying attention. I have my 7 by 12 inch hoop with 2 layers of wash away stabilizer. I didn't have enough on the strip that I just used for the felt bats, so for the lace bats I just opened a new roll. So I will go to embroidery, to my USB, and to the combined files folder, and I will scroll down to find the lace bats. I will hit set, and I need to go up to change my hoop size. I will put it at the 8 by 12 on my machine. Again, I am actually using a 7 by 12. I will select OK. I am going to move it up. Oops, don't do that. Hit embroidery first. Now I'm going to put my hoop on. If I put my hoop on, then I can move this up and to the left, and it won't go outside of the hoop boundaries. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the lace. It's going to do these first 6, and I'm going to do those in black, and then I will do purples for the bottom 6. So let's get started. I will go to this plus minus needle if I need to skip or go back or something like that. I will do that. I also wanted to point out that the book says to use a new 7010 needle, so I put a new 7010 needle in my machine. So this is stitching out the last bat of this set, and I wanted to come give you a little bit of an update on some things that I changed and something I'm going to change. So you can see right now, earlier it had 105 minutes and I was stitching at 600 stitches per minute, and I went ahead and lowered it. The book says to slow down the machine speed. It doesn't say, you know, really to what, and I had stitched at 600, but I went ahead and lowered it all the way down to 350 stitches per minute, which is the slowest the machine will go. So that's why it jumped from 105 to 179. And holy heck, that's a long time for these 12 bats. So I also decided that, so how it stitched is it started with this one, then it came to the second, then it jumped over into these two little ones. It came back for this one and then this one, which is what it's stitching now. So I've decided, one, just because of time, and two, just changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and just stitch, I think, these first four. It'll stitch this one, this one, this one, and this one in the purple. So I'm going to stop the machine after that second little bat and not do these last two larger bats with the purple. So that's kind of an update on the middle of these lace bats. I love the way they look, and I can't wait to see them done. So I walked out of the room and forgot to stop my machine, and so it started the second set of bats. So I am going to come over because I want that in purple. So I'm now making another change. It started to stitch this one. So I am going to use these plus needles to jump to get it to the first stitch of this one. It's going to do this one, and this one, and then I will go ahead and let it stitch this one since I messed up. Anyways, we'll see. Maybe I'll even just let it finish out and do 5 of the 6. So you can see right here, and these stitches, these bats take a lot of stitches, and I really don't know how many, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit the plus 100 until it jumps, and then I'll go back in smaller increments, kind of like we do in Embrilliant software. So I'm going to just hit, I don't even know if maybe 1,000. Let's see. See, 1,000 still on that bat. I'm going to do one more 1,000. Okay, I think, so I did 3 of the 1,000s, and I'm going to just, see, that's a lot of stitches per bat, so I'm just going to keep going. Maybe I'll do another 1,000. Okay, so it jumped to here, and I need to find the very beginning of this one, so I am going to go back. Could have done the 100. Okay, so it jumped to that one, but I still don't know if it's the very last. So now I'm just going to go ahead with the plus 1 until it jumps to the next bat. So now I know that that's the first stitch, and I hope that kind of made sense, because I needed to skip this whole bat because it had already started, and I want that in purple thread. So now I'm ready to stitch. Starting this, it's going to do these, and then I might just go ahead and let it stitch 5 of them in the purple. can see that I finished the purple bats and I love them. I'm glad that I decided to do some. And I decided that the one bat that had started stitching out in black, that was supposed to be purple, and then I stopped and moved to this one. I decided to go ahead and just finish that bat in black. Now, it did start stitching in the black, and I didn't move the needle forward to where it ended, where I stopped it. And so you can see that this part and a little bit up here are a little bit darker because there's two sets of stitching. But I think that'll be okay by the time it's done. I'm okay with that. So anyways, that's where I am on the bats, and I'm almost finished with these lace bats. Oh my gosh, I forgot to stop my machine because I wasn't paying attention. So now my first purple bat, it's putting black over it. So I'm just going to let it finish. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so I didn't let the black stitch out completely because I didn't want some of this purple outline. You can see some of it on this side is more black than it is purple. This kind of looks pretty cool, but I just stopped it, and I am gonna leave it as it is. Again, these bats took so long to stitch out because I have it on the slowest speed, and after this bat that I started and then stopped and then redid, I left the room and got busy doing something else, and when I came back, forgot that it just kept going on. So I have a black and purple bat. I kind of like it, actually. It would have been nice if I would have this satin outlining to kind of match this side, but you know, the bat looks okay, and I think I'm going to keep it. So another caveat is, you know, that's why you should stay with your machine. One, in case something goes wrong, like a needle breaks or the thread jams up or whatever, and in cases where you meant to stop after one and not keep stitching. So at least I came in and I still have 3 or 4 solid purple bats. So I have all of the bats done, and here are the felt bats. Here is the extra stabilizer that I am going to cut off and just keep for something else. And with these bats, we need to cut them out before we dissolve away this stabilizer. It's much easier to see. So you can see if I turn to the back, I will just use my little curved straight scissors, and I will just cut maybe about 1/8 of an inch around the outside of all of the bats. Then for the lace bats, I will do the same thing. I will just cut the excess off. On these, I don't have to cut right next to the stitching because this will all wash away and there's no fabric. So I will just probably cut probably still about 1/8 of an inch, but these don't need to be exact because that's going to wash away. We just want most of the wash away. We don't want, you know, all this gummy stuff. So let's get started and finish on these bats. the wash away stabilizer that's on the back. The directions say to use cool water. I've always just used warm water. I'm not sure if it really makes a difference, but you just submerge. I'm gonna do the purple ones, and you just submerge it, and it literally just takes seconds. And then kind of squeeze it to get the excess out. So there is, let me find one of the light ones. So there's one, and then there's the back, and we'll trim these little threads that inevitably get on the back. We'll trim those when they're dry. Now you can, it says you can make these, like form them, because this stabilizer, not really a glue, but sometimes if you shape them, they kind of dry more stiff, not really stiff, I don't know. Anyways, you could do them flat, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna kind of bend these wings up and see if they'll stay up while they're drying, and maybe they'll look, you know, not quite so flat when we put them on the quilt. It's not really a big deal. So now here are the lace. Let me get a bigger one. So that is all stabilizer that will be removed. So let's do one. So cool. Now it's going to be a little hard to see this. So that's just see-through. That is so cool. I love it. And since these have more stabilizer and it's in between all this little lacing, I am going to let them soak a few seconds longer and maybe rub a little bit more, but it still washes away pretty fast. And I'm kind of just bending the wings so maybe they'll kind of dry, like not flat. Again, we'll get rid of some of these little threads when they're dry. And I'm just bending them up. Make sure I haven't done them upside down. Can't hardly tell. Just that black and purple one. Oops, one more missed. So here's a better look at how I kind of bent the little wings. I just, you know, just bend them towards the body, and we'll see if they dry. So you can see that most of them aren't flat. So we'll see if that stays that way. Super cute. So I trimmed the little threads off the back, and you can tell that these are dry and they are still holding the shape. And they're, I mean, you know, you can bend them, but they did get a little bit of stability from the wash away stabilizer. And here's some of the felt.